What's going on, you wonderful individuals? Welcome to Real Reds Talk Late Night Live, where we are going to be discussing Scott McTominay's move to Napoli, heating up. Very, very hot. Conte wants him. Looks like the player wants to move. So we're going to discuss that in depth. Also, ahead of the Premier League, the new Premier League campaign and the weekend, me and Sam are going to give our Premier League predictions for each game across the course of the weekend, and then we can have a little bit of a light Q&A towards the end, as it is light with some news at the moment, which it hasn't been for the past 6 days, so it's almost a little bit weird. But before we dive into the news on McTominay, Sam, how are we feeling tonight?
Yeah, tired. I've got you can tell I'm an old man. I've got something called a bedtime brew in my not chocolate cup, and it's basically it gets worse. It's chamomile and it's nutmeg. Mate, I am old as fuck. This is what you have to do when you get in your 30s, lads. You got to stretch. Chamomile tea, the only way around it. Sorry.
Jesus. That's where we're at. Late night live with chamomile tea. That's what
I have got a metal band's logo on it, so I'm trying to keep it edgy. But yeah, how are you?
Okay. If you think that's edgy, then I'll let you have that one. But
how are you?
I'm all right. What was I going to say now? I had a perfect segue then as well. Oh no, yeah. McTominay will need some chamomile tea tonight because he's not going to be able to sleep not knowing what's going on with his deal to Napoli. Conte is really pushing for the player. He's a priority target at Napoli. And in the next few hours, a new summit will take place, which was a few hours ago. So I imagine it's already ongoing, maybe even as we speak right now. And Napoli putting a proposal on the table. Now, Damasio saying Napoli could use the funds generated by Victor Osimhen's potential sale to Chelsea, I think it is. And they want to sign Scott McTominay for around 25 million. So, good deal, Sam, all in all. Is it time to accept lower than 30, do you think?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of an update on it from Alfredo Padula.
Yeah.
He said McTominay is giving priority to it. Conte's asked to push and close the deal. There was a meeting between Napoli and McTominay's agency, and there'll be another one. Yeah. So that was like a couple of hours ago. But yeah, I think 30 million was like the high end of what United wanted for him. We saw with Fulham they were willing to accept around 25, weren't they, with add-ons and stuff. So I think 30 is the top end where you set your stall out and then you sort of come to a meeting in between somewhere around 25 plus maybe like 2.5 in add-ons or something around that. I think that'd be ideal. If the player wants to move, he's probably not going to start a lot of games, I imagine, this season. He's going to have a similar role to what he had last season, coming off the bench and trying to snatch a goal. How old is he? 26, 27? Yeah. So I imagine he wants to start just being a regular and starting games. And I don't think he's that guy. But Napoli, he's probably more appreciated there. He probably starts. I know they were looking at Gilmore from Brighton as well, I believe, Napoli. So it's a similar type of profile midfielder with attacking intent, can play an 8, can play a 10. So yeah, it seems like a good deal. If we get it for 25 in a little bit, I'd be happy with that. And then that could go straight towards Iwati and get that deal going and done.
Yeah, I think it's a good fit, to be fair, for McTominay, because the selling point is always with Italy. Obviously, it's an amazing place to live. I mean, I've never been, but I could just imagine with the food and obviously the scenery and the weather and stuff. So that's a selling point. And then the other one with Napoli, I don't know actually if they're in the Champions League or not. It's a good point. I think they might not be because I'm sure they had a pretty poor finish.
I think they finished so like 6th or 7th.
Yeah, so they might be in Europa League, so there's no change of campaign in that sense. But just an opportunity. I mean, the other clubs that have come in for him, like, I don't know, Fenerbahce or Galatasaray, Everton, Fulham, I'd probably say Napoli is probably the most attractive and it's most competitive out of them. And I think Conte's probably looking at him, knows a lot of players in the Premier League, see the opportunity, and he's like, I need people who are going to work hard in this midfield or wherever he's going to deploy.
Follow instructions to the letter, do exactly what they're asked of, which McTominay, that's why he's played under Jose, under Ole, under Ragnick, under everybody, because he follows instructions.
Yeah, there isn't a coach who hasn't deployed him because it's just, he's the guy, he works hard, his attitude's always spot on, there's never ever been an issue with him. So he's a coach's delight in that sense, but it's just quality in certain areas which we've always struggled with. And I think for some reason, whatever it is, I'm sure there's thousands, when Premier League players who either tailing towards the end of the career or just not, like, just seem to struggle to adapt for whatever reason, when they go to the Italian league, they just seem to succeed, don't they? I don't
Yeah.
know why. Like Alexis Sanchez, obviously Ericsson would have Scudetto over there. You had
Ashley
Chris
Young,
Smalling doing
Ashley
really well for
Young.
Roma. Ashley Young's another one.
Yeah.
Like they've got loads of players, especially from United. Darmian was playing in the Champions League final
Yep.
against Man City. So it is a bizarre one, but I think it's a deal we need to do. And I think, do you think they'll use them funds then towards? Do you think that's what they're waiting for in terms of to go and buy one midfielder, or do you think they'll use that money on a Sanderberg or something? I don't know which way they're going with it.
To me, it would make most sense to go get a number 6. That's where the money should be spent. So whether that's a White, whether that's Sanderberg, whoever, and then if you could get Scott McTominay off the books in his wage, you get the 25 million, then maybe go use that on like a Amrabat or a Rabiot or somebody like that, a free agent or a low cost signing for squad depth. Because essentially, if you lose Scott McTominay, you're losing that squad depth off the bench, aren't you? You don't have that replacement, so you're going to need that replacement. So, and we've needed a 6 since the window opened, so that never changed. And then if you lose Scott McTominay, you lose that squad depth on the bench. So I would go out and get an Amrabat or get a Rabiot or get somebody in that ilk who's happy to not be starting every single game, but is decent quality and can fit into a position that you need. Whereas, like, so for example, Rabiot can play 6 and he can play an 8. Amrabat can play 6 really, really well. So you need something like that, an option. Obviously, you got Toby Collier there, but I think it's a lot to ask of him basically to go, yeah, when either Casemiro or this 6 that we bring in is not available, it's down to you, lad. I think that's a lot to ask. I think you need to take that pressure off his shoulders a little bit and bring a squad depth option in. And hopefully that's what United want to do. But obviously, until the window slams shut, we don't know.
Well, what's interesting on the midfielder situation with the Wates as well, we had Sky Sports coming out, good old friend Dharma Sheth saying that PSG are under a bit of pressure to do a deal for Manuel Ugarte following the arrival of João Neves. I think PSG put out there are other clubs interested, but I haven't seen any other links to him apart from us. So I think Ineos know they're in a pretty strong position. It's a case of timing now with this. Like, how long is it going to take to get this deal over? Are you willing to go to the end of the window? And then what happens if PSG just end up saying, nope, we've got this guy. Do you do a late bid for a Sanderberg? I feel like it could get a little bit messy, this, if PSG are stubborn.
Yeah, it could do. And I think Burnley are asking far too much money for Sanderberg. Was it 30 million they're talking about, which I think is a ridiculous amount for Sanderberg, like absolutely ridiculous amount. Like the Awate price, I think is far too high, but I think the Sanderberg price as well is far too high.
Yusuf Fofana's just gone for 25 million euros.
Exactly.
So you're asking for, you're in the Championship now. You're asking for 30 million. It's a bit outrageous, that, in my opinion.
So if that's the way, it is, then I think hopefully we'll look at other targets. Obviously, like you said, Fofana is now gone to AC Milan. So maybe there's other targets out there. You've still got Rabiot on the table. You've still got Amrabat on the table. I'm sure there's a couple of others we've looked at. So yeah, hopefully there's other irons in the fire, as it were, that we don't have to sort of just go down to the wire. And then if we don't get it, we're kind of fucked, because that's what the old regime did, and that's what the thing. And so far this transfer window, they aren't operating that way. They're operating differently. So hopefully that continues.
Well, Dan Fenton in the chat saying, I say I'm a bit gutted. He's going. I'd rather Scott over Ericsson, whose legs have gone. I think he means like the other way. I think both could go. Ericsson and Scott could both be sold at this point.
There was a thing. Was it Sky? Was it Sky today saying United expect bids for Ericsson in the last 2 weeks of the window? So
there's I think like Anderlecht, Ajax have asked for him back. There's a couple of clubs but you're not going to get a lot of money for Ericsson. It's not going to be.
Nah, but if it frees up a squad space, doesn't it? And it frees up some wages. So
I mean, I don't even know how much wages he's on, because he signed under free. It's got to be at least like 100,000 a week, I'd imagine, at United.
I've seen 140 kicked around, but I don't know how true that is.
I'd imagine it's around 100 at least, so it'd be nice to get that off, I suppose. Dan Errington's saying, we'll be ashamed to see McTominay go if he leaves. The thing is, though, I get the sentiment, because he's an academy player. He's like we said before, he's always had the right attitude. But it comes a point in time where if you want to level up and you want to start challenging for Premier League trophies and Champions League trophies and stuff like that, I don't think you can really have a McTominay as a starter in your team. Even as a bench option, maybe it's all right last 20 minutes. But again, because of the type of person he is, I don't think he is just happy playing off the bench. I think he wants to play week in, week out, just the attitude that he has. So if Napoli come crawling, like, we're going to pay a good amount, United will let you go, I don't see why he wouldn't, because he'll probably start.
It's a domino situation, isn't it? It's like they need to sell Osimhen to Chelsea, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
Lukaku goes the other way, and then the money they
Yeah.
receive from Osimhen would go towards Scott McTominay. So there's a lot of sort of dominoes in place that need to happen in order for it to sort of be a reality. Because they were talking like they wanted a loan, and apparently United were like, we're not interested in a loan. Like it's a sale or you don't get him, which I think is fair from United because we need to bring in cash and we need to bring in money. So I think a loan option is ridiculous when he's in the last year of his deal as well. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Joshua Owen, Napoli finished 10th, which is not a European qualification spot. Oh wow, I didn't realize it was that far down. I know they had a bad season, but to go from they won the league,
They won the league, yeah,
the year before, so that's got to be one of the biggest drop offs ever to go down to 10th. Jesus Christ. So yeah, look, yeah, I don't know. It's just focus on Italian football, I suppose, and the cup games. He's used to it at United anyway. We've had seasons where we've not really been in Europe, so yeah, Napoli finished. Sorry, read that out. Hope McTominay will do well. This is from Dino. Big up Dino. Over there, just hope we get 25 mil and bring Uwati in straight after. I do think you'll see movement on that, to be fair.
Yeah.
Richard, where's that comment just gone now? Where's that comment gone?
Which
Oh,
one?
there. Nick, I was disappointed after watching your video about how negative Erik ten Hag was about tomorrow night. You disappointed with me or disappointed with Erik ten Hag? Let's clarify that. Is there a world where McTominay goes and Uwate comes in, then Eriksen and Lindelof go off, and either Sander Turd or De Jong comes in? De Jong, no.
All the first bits, yes. The Sanderberg and the De Jong. De Jong definitely not. Sanderberg, if they're asking for 30 million, absolutely not.
No, I don't see that happening. Every team's just being cunts, basically, to put it, to use a better word.
They're charging ridiculous prices, and then when they come to buy our players, they just fucking go,
Yeah.
"Oh, we got no money, we got nothing, we're poor."
It's like, we'll give you 12 mil for McTominay, which is less than half of what we're asking for. But what we'll do is we'll bid fucking 10 million initially for Wan-Bissaka or whatever it was. Like, teams are just stupid. Who's out tomorrow night for the game? Then my new Dart League starts down to local, and United to win 4-0. Well, hopefully you enjoy that, Dino. I'll be doing a watch along on here. So yeah, anyone who wants to join me for that, feel free to. Should we move on? Should we go to the Premier League predictions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. Right, so Friday. I mean, we've already made our predictions, but have you changed your mind slightly? United and Fulham tomorrow.
What did I say? Was it 1-1? Did I say?
I can't remember. I thought you said us to win, but just. But if you change your mind, change your mind.
I was talking about it today, and I think I said 1-1. So I think it's going to be a draw. I think
a draw.
United and Fulham.
Okay, not the way we want to start our season. 2-0 United. Yeah. Saturday, 12:30. This could be a good game, to be fair. Ipswich, newly promoted, versus Liverpool. How do you see that one going?
It's a Liverpool win, isn't it? Like, I like Ipswich, and I think they will do well this season. I like Kieran McKenna a lot. He's done decently. He's brought him up from League One, the Championship, back-to-back promotions, and got him into the Premier League. Just signed Calvin Phillips on loan, which I think is a mistake, but
I disagree. I think that's a good sign.
He was awful for West Ham. Awful.
He is, but everyone has the level, don't they?
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. So yeah, I think they'll do all right this season. I think they stay up. But I think Liverpool's a massive, massive ask first day season. Don't get me wrong. If they absolutely batter him, I am going to be singing for the rooftops and talking about it for weeks. But yeah, I think Liverpool win. Do you want a score or do you just want win, loss, draw?
I think it's going to be a good game. I think there could be a couple goals either side, but maybe Liverpool just scrape it 2-1. I'd say I can't see Liverpool losing to Ipswich on the first game. I'd love it. Kieran McKenna, you got United ties there with your, you're a red at heart. And I almost remember how crazy was that when he got linked with a job. Remember that?
Yeah. Chelsea job as well. He was like this close.
Chelsea
job.
Very, very close. Well, that seems like years ago. So yeah, we will go with that. Guys, join in with your predictions. We'll go towards yours shortly. Let us know what you think. Arsenal versus Wolves.
Yeah, I like Gary O'Neill a lot. I think he's a good manager. I think he got shortchanged at Bournemouth, considering how new he was and how well he did with him, and he ended up losing his job. And he's done well at Wolves with in a bit of a shit situation. Like they had to sell all their best players, didn't they? And that's why Julian Lopetegui left. So yeah, I think he's a good manager, and they've got some decent players. But Arsenal, I just think they'll be too strong for him, and I think they should win comfortably, like a 2-0 or a 3-0 or something like that. They'll win comfortably at Wolves. Unfortunately, again, if Wolves win, fucking great weekend, and I will be loving it. If Liverpool and Arsenal lost, that would be fantastic. But yeah, I can't see Wolves winning.
You had a change of like Kevin Keegan then. Kevin Keegan won it. I would love it.
I would love it.
Went out there. Yeah. About Fergie. I'll go. I think in my Super 6 prediction, I did Arsenal 2-0. I think. I think, yeah, likewise. I think they're going to start very strong. Wolves, I'm not sure about Wolves. I think they could actually give him a game because I watched bits of them in pre-season, and Gary O'Neill's got to play some really good football.
There won't be a pushover.
No, there won't be a pushover. Definitely not. But they've just lost Neto.
Yeah.
They lost Max Kilman as well at centre back.
Yeah.
They've lost a good couple of players. So I agree with you on that. I think Arsenal wins that game comfortably. Everton versus Brighton is an interesting one. Brighton new manager.
Yeah. Recruited well. They recruited well as well.
Yeah, it's like a cloud lurking over Everton at the moment. With are they going to get another deduction? What's going on with the takeover?
Players. So. Have they signed people, Everton? I think
they've signed a couple, but not like outstanding ones.
But Brighton just recently have gone on a bit of a spree, haven't they? They've signed like 3 or 4 players in the last 2 weeks or so.
So
they look like he's on his way. They've just bought 40 million striker from Leeds, I think.
Yes, German Ruta. Yeah, I think.
They'll have Mitoma back and Adinga and Pedro and all that. So. Yeah, I think they could do Everton here. I think Brighton will do well, and I think they'll beat Everton. I don't think it'll be comfortable because Sean Dyche never makes it comfortable, does he?
No,
like he's never it's never a sort of easy win. So I'd say 2-1 Brighton. I'd say
2-1. I'm gonna go 1-1 in this Everton and Brighton. I think it'd be not the most exciting of games, bit edgy either side, and Everton set piece towards the end of some at 1-1. Newcastle versus the newly promoted Southampton. I think this is a slapping. I think it's a real slapping.
Yeah, Newcastle, Southampton got rep for being slapped. They got slapped 9-0 by us. Is it 9-0 by Leicester?
A few times. Yeah, they've been battered.
They've got Armstrong as a striker, but I just don't rate him. I just don't think
he did well in the Championship last season, but it's the apples and oranges in it compared to the Premier League. Newcastle at home as well, so I'm like, they're very good at St. James's Park.
I think, Newcastle, if they've got a full squad as well, I just think they're too good. And I think, probably like a 3-0, maybe, possibly a 4 if they get if like Bruno Guimaraes and whoever else get up to sort of speed quickly.
Yeah. A couple of Nick emojis in the chat and Sam emojis, which is always nice to see. Not seen being them used for a while. McTominay scores a hat-trick, gets on the bus back to London with Fulham and Marco Silva, leaves 30 mil under the seat, 45 Rose Ed in the Sir stand. Very specific, McMillan.
Nice.
4-0 to United with Bruno, Mainu, Rashford and De Ligt to score. That is very, very bold.
Is that it, Sam? Or is that somebody else?
No, that is Dino.
Oh, Dean. Dean's getting positive early.
Yeah. Josh Rowan saying 2-1 United. McMillan saying Wolves, bollock, Arsenal 2-1. And Arteta sacked by November.
Oh, let it happen. Please let it happen. Yeah. That'd be great. I'd be loving that.
Dan Fenton saying 3-0 United. Richard saying Everton to go down, unfortunately, because they're the real Liverpool. And McMillan saying, so the Wi-Fi at Brighton Amex will be pretty good with Ruta up front.
Nice.
Oh, there we go. Nice. Classic dad joke there for you. It's not a dad joke. It's a bit insulting, that. It's a bit better than a dad joke.
It's a good pun. It's a good pun.
It's a good pun, yeah.
There he is. Speak of him, it's Sam, 4-0 United. I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it.
Keep that positivity going, mate. We love it. Love it.
Sam, if you're not here every week telling us 4-0 United, I'm going to be disappointed, mate. You need to be here every week because. Yeah.
And do you know what? He's going to look like a fucking genius when we do win 4-0.
It will happen at one point.
It'll happen at some point, I'd imagine. Nottingham Forest versus Bournemouth. Bournemouth just lost Solanke. Forest, I don't think have really invested in any really players. You had Nuno saying in the press conference today that he don't want to lose any rather than sign anyone. So I see that a bit of a stalemate myself, like a 0-0 or a 1-1.
It's got draw written all over it, that, isn't it?
I think so.
It's a proper. That is a last on match of the day match, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it.
That is. Yeah. I'll say 1-1. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see much happening in that game at all.
Okay. West Ham versus Aston Villa. This one, out of the
Ooh,
majority of the games, is the one I'm
interesting.
looking forward to.
Mm,
West Ham spent about 130 million in the transfer
Yeah.
market. They're at home, but then you've got Villa, who also done. It's like
Yeah.
battle of the fucking transfer window,
yeah.
isn't it, between them two? Villa have done some really good business as well,
Mhm.
but it's weird because you don't know how they're gonna. Last season, Villa were really, really good, but they've lost Diarra, they've
Yeah.
lost Douglas Luiz.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't guess this one.
We
Genuinely.
I don't know how West Ham are going to set up even under Lopetegui, because under
No,
Moyes you knew
no
what you
idea.
were going to set up with, but Lopetegui, I got no idea how they're going to set this up, because all the players he've signed seem like for a different system than I think he was going to do. Wan-Bissaka
Yeah.
and Fulcrum suggest to me quite a pragmatic system. That
Mhm.
suggests to me, but they've got players like Kudus in there and Jared Bowen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm just like,
Captain now as well.
yeah. So it's
Jared
just
Bowen.
interesting to see like how they're going to set up like from there. Villa is just like do their new signings immediately, like melt into the team and just
Yeah.
sort of get going, or does it take a while? I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, Nana is not going to work at Villa. Like he's not going to be a thing," which is a bit bizarre. So yeah, I think a draw, but I think it might be a high scoring draw. I think it might be like 2-2 or something.
That's the
See like a
exact
high
score
scoring
I had.
draw.
Yeah, exact score I had 2-2. Then that'd be one of the games of the weekend, that
Yeah.
West Ham and Villa.
I'll
I do.
definitely watch that one.
Moving on to Super Sunday, not starting off with a very super game. I think this will be one of the worst games of the weekend. Brentford versus Palace. Palace been picked apart as well for a couple of their players. Gay might be on the way as well. Obviously, Elise's left. Brentford, same. Could lose Ivan Toney soon, but not really upgraded. You know, they brought in a couple of players in the squad. 0-0, do we think? Or do you think different?
I think Palace could beat him. I think Glasner got him playing well last season.
Yeah,
I thought the when did he come in? The last like 4 months, 5 months of the
I think
season.
so. And we was on the receiving end of one of the beatings, weren't we?
And one of the worst performances from a United
Mhm.
team I've ever seen.
Mhm.
And there was a few
Yeah.
last season. But yeah, I thought he got him playing well. I think exciting football. Gahey could be a definite loss if he goes, but I'm sure they'll reinvest it because they tend to reinvest their money quite well. This could be why do I say Patrick every fucking time with Wharton? Adam Wharton.
Patrick Ward.
Why do I say Patrick? Why do I say Patrick?
I don't know.
I don't know why my
Maybe
brain.
it's in a different life, you know.
I don't know
Patrick
why
Wharton.
my brain goes, but I think this could be Adam Wharton's like breakout
You
season.
You can't call him anything else other.
No.
I'm saying you realise now you can't call him anything else.
No,
other than
exactly.
Patrick. It's just
If he ends up at United, he's going to be Patrick.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Patrick,
yeah, I think this could be Wharton's breakout season. I think this might be the one. Like, because he looked great last season. Only sort of saw him a little bit, but I think this has been a season where he breaks out, and then next summer there's going to be an absolute bidding war for him, and he's going to end up going for like 80, 90 million or something like that. So yeah, could be interesting. But I'd say Crystal Palace 2-1. I'll say Crystal Palace.
I also see Palace winning, to be fair. I forgot about Glasner coming in. I'm sat here still thinking fucking Roy Hodgson's in charge.
Oh, yeah.
They was playing some nice football.
Yeah.
Last season. Mick Miller saying 2-2 West Ham Villa is agreeing with us. Chivy saying, anyone seen the latest training vids? De Ligt looking fit. I watched him in the game. It looked very sharp. Reactions on point, goal line clearances, communicating a lot. Yeah, it looked decent. If you could do that in the game, then fucking hell, fantastic. I was actually listening to something before, funnily enough, a podcast, and there was a guy speaking about De Ligt, and he was saying, obviously it's opinion based, but he was saying he thinks United have absolutely stole a bargain here, because he said he's watched him closely for Bayern. He started as many games as Upamecano, and it was a case of whoever came in and bid. If someone would have come in and bid for, if he was interested in Upamecano, they would have sold a centre back. So because he was interested in De Ligt, it was like, right, this is a realistic one that we can move on.
Yeah.
But like you saw from the fans as well, who was petitioning for it, you saw loads of things. I think De Ligt could turn out to be really good. But again, it's all opinion based, isn't it?
It seemed like they didn't like any of their centre backs, really, did they? Like Kim Min Jae got dropped for the season, and he was signed for 50 million euros.
And we was after him, weren't we?
We were after him. Yeah, we were after him. And then Dyer, people were like, why have they bought Dyer? This is a weird buy. They didn't understand it. All their centre backs just seem to be out of favour at Bayern. It's a bizarre situation.
It's a very, very strange situation. Anyway, got sidetracked there. And then we have Super Sunday's actual super game, Chelsea versus City. Is that a foregone conclusion? City are going to slap him, or do you expect? I don't know what to expect from Chelsea.
No, because City traditionally start slowly, don't they, in the season? Like
Yeah,
it takes
yeah.
them a bit to get going. I can see that being a draw. To be honest with you.
Oh, really? A
Yeah,
draw.
I can see City like
Uh,
stuttering. People like only Rodri and Foden have only just come back. They didn't play in the Community Shield. Could be stuttering a little bit, getting up to speed. Chelsea could stifle it. Like they stick all 44 players on the pitch or something. Yeah, it could be interesting. I could see a draw, like I really could, or City just about getting over the line. Do you know what I mean? Like just about sneaking a win. But I'll put my neck on the line. I'll say a draw. I'll say 1-1 City Chelsea.
I'll say 3-1 City, just because Chelsea's an unknown entity at the moment. I could be absolutely wrong on that, but I just have no idea what to expect. So, yeah, that's what I'll go with that one. And then the last one's Monday night, Leicester versus Spurs. We'll get into that in a minute. I'm just going to read a few more comments out. Andy Mitten said United turned down Wharton when he left Blackburn. Doesn't surprise me. We've done it. Yeah.
Old regime. The amount of people we turned down is fucking idiots. Just idiots.
It is. And you're hearing more and more names by the day.
Yeah.
That the people we've been linked with. Dan saying, yeah, Delit, I reckon he's going to be class. Emma Martinez giving me the feeling of Rio and Vidic. Richard saying, City 150, Chelsea 0.
Nice.
Crystal Palace are looking at Kasunu and Lacroix as placements for Gahey. I think Lacroix is the centre-back from Wolfsburg, French centre-back. Decent. Chelsea will put a new 11 on every 20 minutes. Yeah. Just stamina it out. Just, yeah. One of my best memories, the 94 FA Cup final, 4-0 United. And Brian saying good evening. Good evening to you, Brian.
Hello, Brian.
Welcome to the show. Hope you're well, mate. We've just been doing our Premier League predictions, Brian, so get yours in if you can before we finish this last one. Yeah, Leicester versus Spurs. Leicester at home. But Spurs made some great signings. Could be Solanke's debut. Monday Night Football.
I think you'll see similar to last season. Spurs ran away with it, didn't they, for like the first couple of weeks, months? And everybody was like going, oh, Postecoglou masterclass, and it kind of fell off a cliff, didn't it, after a while? And they sort of... You remember that mad game against Chelsea where they went down to 9 men and then they were still with a high press and a high line? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I was going to mention that to you. Crazy game.
That's who it is. That's who they are. And I think at times it's going to go absolutely stunning for them and they'll look fantastic. And then other times they're just going to get torn apart. But he's just not going to change it. They have invested well. Archie Gray, good player. Solanke, I don't think he's going to work, but other people tend to differ. See what happens. But yeah,
James Maddison.
James Maddison's there. Son. Yeah, good players, man. So I think they'll do well. I think they'll beat Leicester 2-0. I think they'll win. They'll beat Leicester, and I think they'll do well. But I do think there'll be a drop off at some point for Spurs because they always seem to bottle it at some point. That's just who they are.
Did you see what happened with Basuma?
Yeah, he was doing NOS one in a car. I think
before training session.
Fucking idiot.
What on earth are you doing? I remember we was linked with him as well.
Yeah. Do you know why Brighton sold him? It was like 35 million. It was quite cheap. And I'm like, why have they sold him for so cheap? And I'm like, okay, that's why. He's got attitude problems for sure.
Attitude issues. So yeah, I think he suspended him for a game or two, Postecoglou. So it looks like Papi Sarr and Oliver Skip. I don't even know who plays in their midfield nowadays because they've sold Højbjerg, aren't they?
They've got what's his the guy who's injured all the time, the Argentinian. Yes.
Uruguayan, I think.
Is he Uruguayan?
Yeah. Benson Core in there. I'll go score 2-1 Leicester for the Monday night. It's so nice to be talking about Premier League football, by the way. I can't wait to just watch every game.
If you are a member, by the way, and you're in the chat, I know there's quite a few of you. There was a post for the Fantasy Premier League. So if you fancy it, you got a day to join. So you got to, I don't know what time the deadline is tomorrow, but yeah, you've got a day to join. So go check out the community post on the membership. The post is in there. And if you want to join the Fantasy Premier League, consider joining the membership and you can get involved with it. I think we've got about 13, 14 people. All the lads except Adam, I think, are in.
Of course.
But Adam probably won't join.
Adam does.
Yeah.
Just a wildfire.
All the other lads are in. I think my girlfriend's in as well, I believe. So yeah, please do go check that out and join the Fantasy League if you want to.
Yeah. Right, on to the questions and the Q&A for the last 5 minutes. Joshua Rowan saying, who do you think is going to be signing of the summer? I can't remember who I said in my thing. Apologies about that. Who did I say now in the thing? I think I said Archie Gray will be in there. But if I were to give you a different answer, I will say. Ooh, I need a minute to think. I think signing of the season. Have you got one in mind, Sam?
So for United, I think I picked Yoro. And then I think for the other team, I went with Onana at Villa.
Yeah, I'll say. I think I said Euro as well for United. And then for the Premier League, it's difficult because I don't think there's been astronomical signings. I'd say there's not
No.
been. I'll go Calafiore for Calamari, whatever the fuck his name is, for Arsenal.
Yeah.
I think he'll do well. Versatile player. I think he'll be good. And he really looked good in the Euros for Italy. Yeah. City win by 4 points over Arsenal. Villa third. We get fourth. Liverpool struggled to get top 6. Chelsea struggled to get top 10. Finish. Ipswich stay up. Wow. Real Reds talk. Why can we not just play football? Watch the 1968 European Cup final. We just played football and played to our strengths. I don't know what that's in relation to. If something I've said, I have no idea. But I have watched that final against Benfica with Eusebio. I've seen it, or at least seen clips of it. Do you think Xerxes will play tomorrow?
I don't think he'll start. Don't think he'll start.
How many minutes? Let's try predict his minutes.
10, 12, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Sometimes he does integrate them, doesn't he? Like slowly. You see 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You know when Mount came back or Anthony or whatever it was. Bless you.
Yeah. Well, you didn't see him even get off the bench at the Community Shield, which says to me he's far behind everybody else. Yeah. So if he's going to get minutes, it's not going to be long. He won't be long.
Brian saying who you got for United player. Oh yeah, well we just mentioned that. So I think player of the year.
Let's do player of the year and then player of the year because that's two different awards, isn't it?
Player of the year, I can't look past Bruno Fernandes. I know it's a boring pick, but
I think he'll be player of the year. I think the players will pick him as player of the year, and then player of the year is normally voted by fans, I believe.
I'll go Garnacho for the players player.
Good shout. I'll go Ahmad.
Yeah, Ahmad Diallo. I hope so. Which gaffer gets canned first this season?
Ooh.
I think everyone would say Maresca.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't look past Maresca, can you?
You can't look past that. But again, I don't want to go with the obvious choice. So I'll say, it's tough. I think Gary O'Neill, I think Gary O'Neill's been playing really good football, but they're not strengthened and they've lost a lot of players.
Yeah.
So I'll go Gary O'Neill.
I will go...
Nuno's a great shout, Tim, by the way.
Nuno's a good one. Yeah, Nuno's my shout, I think. Yeah, Nuno's is a good shout. I could also see Thomas Frank if Tony goes. I could see him going.
Yeah. No, Nick, it's not you. It's everyone talks about system because football's moved drastically on, Richard, since the 60s to now. It's night and day. I know people have this feeling about it because they've watched it back then and it's more pure, and I understand it completely. But football is night and day now compared to, honestly. I prefer more like early 2000s era, like Choco Benito, when Brazil, Italy, France, Zidane, R9, all the Nestor, Maldini. That was my favourite because it was like a line between like tactical excellence and purity, I think, with them lot.
Mine was late 90s, early 2000s Italian football, Serie A. That was my era, like AC Milan, Juve. There's a team called Parma back in the day who were excellent. Like, and basically every top Italian league player you've ever seen came from like Parma. Like Pirlo came from there. Like there's loads of sort of great players who came through there. So that was my era. I really enjoyed that era. Very tactical, it's a lot slower, but the passing was ridiculous. Like some of the passing was unbelievable. And then you had like pure number 9s like R9 Ronaldo and stuff like that. And then you had people like Ronaldinho, people like Kaká, people like it was full of like players who were just like, oh my god, these players. Totti as well. Like it was great. I fucking loved Serie A football.
What was your first memory of Old Trafford? Mine was, I don't know if you came to this with me, Sam. Champions League game. Dad took me.
Bayer Leverkusen? That one?
It was either Bayer Leverkusen or Chelsea or Bayern Munich. I know it's Chelsea. Played Chelsea in the Champions League.
I don't think I was at that one.
And I was like, I don't know, I was very, very young. Like 12 probably or something. And I said to my dad at the time, why did he keep saying Chelsea rent boys? And he was like, don't worry about it, basically.
I'm not telling you.
Yeah. I'm not telling you that. You have to wait until you get over. So that's my first memory. But like, my memory's so shit. Anyone will tell you. Like, It's awful.
Mine was, I think I went to the Eric Cantona testimonial, his testimonial game at Old Trafford. That was our first memory. And then the first game I ever went to was Champions League against Bayer Leverkusen, with a full back called Lucio. Or centre back, he might have been. But
Centre back.
they were my first two memories of going to Old Trafford. I sat in the same stand as well. I sat in the what's now known as the Sir Alex stand, but at the time wasn't. I sat in that stand both times.
Yeah. Different question. How are you, Sam? Hope you're doing better. And how are you, Nick? I'm a 4 out of 10 at the minute. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, just one of those days.
I'm treading water, mate. Dan, life is just treading water at a minute, but hopefully in time it will get better. McMillan said, "What's your go-to hangover meal?"
Ooh, go-to hangover meal. Do you know what? I don't even drink that much, and well, I don't even have hangovers anymore because I don't drink as much as I used to. But if I'm talking like I'm like 90 years old. A hangover meal.
Mate, I'm drinking chamomile tea. Fuck off, like you
know what I like? I tell you a drink, either like a Lucozade Sport, something with electrolytes in, or a Powerade, and then just like I don't even know, like a Subway or something, just something shit, which I know probably isn't good for you, but
just pure stodge.
You can't be arsed, can you? When you're rough, you just like anything that's nice. Yeah. So probably something like that.
Mine is my girlfriend makes you've had one, sausage and egg bagel. And it's one of the best things in the world. Like, I love it every time. Every weekend, I try to get her to make me one, and it's fantastic. And when I'm hungover, when I'm hungover, she'll bring it to me in bed with a cup of tea, and I'm just like, fantastic. Like,
there you go.
That hits the spot. That hits the spot. Do you think Liverpool will make a signing?
Yeah,
I think
it's not Zubimendi, but they'll make a signing.
Yeah, that's funny. That recommended tactics history book, Inverting the Pyramid. I'll have to read that one. I'm not. Check that one out. Mine was 1996 against Everton. Dan Fenton.
How old are you, Dan?
I was going to say, I thought you were young, Dan. I didn't realise you were that old.
I presumed he was like 18 or something. I don't know why.
Interesting. Brian, sure it's got to be a Mackie D's. I don't like McDonald's. No. Unpopular opinion. No. I don't like McDonald's.
I'm with you. It makes me feel like shit when I eat it. So
poison. Pure poison, mate.
Can't do it. Yeah, it's not great for you. But each their own.
Here is the cure, full English, and then 4 bananas. I know, bananas supposed to be good for your potassium. That'll sort you out. Who do you think is going to be the breakout player of the season?
Breakout? Collier, probably. It depends what your class is like. A breakout from a youngster, or if you talk about one who's going to push into the first team, I'd lean more towards Collier right now, I'd say. Yeah.
I wanted to say Harry Amas, but I just don't think he's going to get the game time, unfortunately. I just don't think he'll get the game time. I would love to say Harry Amas, but it probably is going to be Collier at this rate, unless Wheatley, because I know he's sticking around till Jan. Maybe he surprises us, but it's probably going to be Collier.
Yeah. Apparently, Liverpool going big and paying a combined 185 for Gordon and Guimaraes. Never happening.
Never happening.
No. They ain't spending that kind of money. I do think they will sign because they need a midfielder. They need a midfielder almost as much as we do. So they'll definitely sign someone. Who it'll be, I have no idea. But I hope Liverpool have an absolute car crash of a season and just fall completely off and they melt like the David Moyes season after Fergie left. That's what I hope happens. But from what I've seen and read and heard, Arne Slot sounds like he's doing relatively well. But he'll have his honeymoon period like Postecoglou did last season. And then he'll hit a tough patch, I think. And then the fans will turn on him rapid because you ain't got that Klopp aura, have you?
Yeah. Well, Klopp had a tough period, didn't he, when he first started? Like, he finished 8th. And it took him a while to sort of get there. And then obviously became arguably one of the most popular managers ever at Liverpool, maybe bar like Bill Shankly or someone like that. Like, I don't think there's anybody else who sort of touches him. Obviously, because he brought the first title back to them in 30 years. But yeah, I've just seen Romano. Manuel Ugarte pushing to make move to United. Fofana was never in negotiation with United. United focus on Ugarte's main priority and have backup Sander Berge, Amrabat, and other names.
I'd love to know who those other names are. Why are Sky Sports reporting that we're ready to put a bid in for Fofana?
Yeah,
they are way behind journalists, by the way. Sky Sports at the moment, like they just
Ridiculous. They'll just go, wait till David Ornstein says something, wait a day, and then just repeat it. That's
And
kind
they
of
used to be like the four, like back
Yeah.
in the day. It was like, last minute window, Peter Odom Winger. They're so far behind now. Journalists have just completely taken over and dissected transfers as we know it.
Yeah, social media's changed it as well. Like, because social media
Yeah.
is just so instant. You put something out and it's there. Whereas Sky
Yeah.
Sports, they got a production, they got to prep the meeting for the show, they got to do the interview and the setup and all that. It just by the time that happens, it's 24 hours later, and everything's already passed it by.
Yeah.
So it's just
So-
they're a glorified aggregator, really, aren't they? That's what they are.
Pretty much. To be honest, I need the transfer window to be over because it's not good for my mental health when I'm just scrolling and fucking refreshing my feed. As he signed, I need to just end the window, get the players in, and we could just focus on watching football and analysing that rather than transfers because it's been a long window, or at least it feels like it.
Yeah. Really hope we get a Guarati so similar to Herrera, in my opinion, Brian Casey. Brian, if I fall in love with a Guarati like Herrera, my heart is going to get broken quick because when he left, that broke my fucking heart, that Herrera leaving. One of my favourite players. Not because of his quality, not because he was fucking amazing, but yeah, just his attitude and the way he presented himself and the way he gave everything. He was one of my favourite players.
Yeah, he was one of those like cult kind of legends, wasn't he? Like him,
Cavani's in there as well.
Cavani, man. What a guy he was. I know we always say we shouldn't sign players like 30 odd, but what he brought, the spirit, unbelievable, man. I remember that goal he scored when he came back from injury as well, because he was injured quite a lot. He chipped it over the keeper from like near the halfway line, and you're like, oh, this guy, and his celebration, the little, I loved it.
If we got Cavani in his prime, he would be a legend at United.
Unreal.
Like he'd have a statue. He'd be like, it'd be unreal.
Talk about pure movement from a player, knowing like sniffing it out. I remember the Southampton game where he scored 2, and I think Bruno shot, and he was the only one to react with like a diving header and got a goal back for us. I ended up winning that game.
That's what we're missing. You know, when we play with a false 9, it's that instinct in the box that if something ricochets or a ball thing, they're in there ready to go. And you saw that with like when Ahmad put that ball across and it's Mason Mount and he's behind the ball because he's not a striker.
Yeah, Rude gets on the end.
Yeah, striker in their thing going, I need to be in the 6-yard box in case this ball comes across. And that's kind of what you miss in the sort of false 9 area. Like you don't have that thing. Falcao, I was fucking excited about Falcao. Yeah. I thought he was going to be fantastic, and he was just shit. He's just really shit for us.
Spent like 6 mil on a loan fee, and he scored 4 goals. I think it was,
and he was injured for about 10 games as well.
Yeah, mad. But Falcao's another one like Spanish league. When he was tearing it up there, and even for Porto, I think it was in the Portuguese league, he was killing it. So yeah, I think we just we've made a lot of mistakes basically in the fucking transfer window. That's what it always circles back to at the end of the day, doesn't it? Yeah. Unfortunately. Right, I'm gonna leave it at that, guys, because I'm just mentally exhausted, to be completely transparent with you. Appreciate every single one of you as always. You know this. Exciting day tomorrow. Going to be refreshed. United played. It's going to be a 12 o'clock show. It's going to be build up. So really, really excited for that one. Sam, where are you watching the game? Are you still going to the game, or are you not going now?
No, because obviously DC's not available to go, so I can't go. But no, so I'll be around. I'll be here for the review. So I will do the review with you. I might do the watch along with you. I need to figure out how to get my setup upstairs down here without a fucking delay. Because there's nothing worse than watching a game on a fucking delay. Does my head in. Really.
And especially when you can see the chat sometimes. That was my like biggest pet peeve, that the chat, and I'm like, someone's obviously 2 minutes behind. You're like, go! And I'm like, sat waiting for it. And I'm like, oh fucking hell, man. Like, I
might have to do it. I might have to find a way to sort of, maybe we put the chat on like a minute delay or something, just so we can sort of save ourselves. You can do that. You can put it on like a minute, 2 minutes, like whatever. So maybe we do that, because then we can figure out a way to watch it, even if we have got a slight delay, because obviously it's on Sky, isn't it? On Sky?
Yeah.
But when you got Now TV on browser, it seems to be a minute and a half behind, like live TV.
It is really behind. And it's different on different things, like on a console, on a TV. It's
so annoying.
strange.
It's so fucking annoying.
Very bizarre.
But
would love to have you join us or join me, whatever it is, the situation on the watch along. So anyone who wants to watch it with us,
Yes.
feel part of the thing, then please do join us, and we'll put all the details out for it tomorrow. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for everyone being so polite and nice in the chat and asking questions. We always appreciate it. 19 subs off 6,500. Let's get it, and yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. In a bit.
Peace.